All right, guys. It's so funny right now because we got like a group of people saying, "Oh my God, is competitive Splatoon dying?" And literally this week has been filled with crazy news about the competitive scene. Like, I'm like, whoa, this is pretty freaking huge. So I don't understand what they're smoking. All right, well, so let's give them their due. Lately, there has been a lot of like A-tier teams. All sorts of shakeups are happening in the NA scene right now. I mean, you had Vitamin C lose like 2 players. Komodo's lost like 4 players. Something like that. Something crazy. Deep Blues just lost 2 of their members. Generation Z guy, of course, I met them at Gatorland. Kind of sad to see them disband, but they ended up disbanding. But at the same time, I know, I believe his name's Andrew Stars. He's in college right now, so I totally can't blame him for, if competitive Splatoon was, taken away from his schoolwork. Can't blame you at all. And that's the thing that I also want to talk about. Like, people quitting, people are really down on that. Like, oh gosh, is the scene dying? People are always going to quit. There's going to be new people always coming in, people leaving. I mean, that's healthy for like any system, any community. Obviously there's some pillars that like really that do stuff, but even then, some people step out and then other people will step in, maybe with something fresh, maybe something new. You want to retain players, but at the same time, there's always going to be an element of change. That's just part of, the cycle of life. I mean, especially with, competitive play, not everybody's going to reach that level where, they're playing at the top echelon of, any sport, any competitive game. So, at some point, if you figure out, I'm just not making it, or I'm just not going to make enough sacrifice to get to the top, sometimes it's better just to step out. There's nothing, wrong with that. Maybe play casually. Hopefully a lot of these people that are, step out of competitive scene is still going to be part of the community, whether it's coaching players or, taking part, maybe TOing or, there's a lot of different things you can do. It's still contributed to the community, but, without necessarily, playing 4 hours, 3 hours a day, constantly adjusting your schedule for practices. So, there has been those elements happening in the competitive scene at the moment. And I think that's what's leading to people saying, oh, the scene's dying, oh no, are we dying? I'm seeing these people, but like at the same time, how wrong can you be? I mean, are you seeing what's going on right now in the competitive scene? All right, I won't get to the biggest part. Let me just start. Actually, there is no small news. I can't start small because I just saw the winner of Inkstorm is going to win a trip to Japan to take part in Platinum Cup 4, which is actually going to be in Tokyo. I mean, this is crazy. A Western team is going to go over to their turf, probably get their ass kicked, but still, it's pretty freaking awesome that, I don't think we've had really, besides the World Championship, like a really competitive Japanese team come to us. I want to see more of that, East versus West, coming together in a LAN. I mean, obviously the dream would be like, 4 or 5 really good Japanese teams, like 4 or 5 really good European teams. I don't know if there is like 4 or 5 really good American teams at the moment. Hopefully there'll be enough for like STDX, Tomo, Saikai. Like there's also a lot of good teams, but in the US, but I don't think like they're at like that like level, like the high S tier level. But that would be the dream for like the ultimate LAN. It's like crazy, like the real world championship. The nation stuff is nice, but like teams, the best teams and the best of each region really coming together and slugging it out. That would be freaking crazy. All right, so that was just the first part of the news. The second part is that Nintendo's still doing a European Championship. That just got announced, and they're including the Nordic teams. So obviously, most notably, Sendo is going to be able to take part in it. Last time he was commentating, which, he did a fantastic job. But it's really awesome that, more countries in Europe are going to be able to be included in that championship. That's going to be fun. They always do a really good production value with that. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. And to me, the biggest news is, of course, Team Olive becoming Ghost Gaming. Basically, they got sponsored by Ghost Gaming, and apparently they're going to help them go to LAN tournaments. Kind of basically the same way STDX helps, deadbeats, formerly deadbeats, get to their events. They're going to do the same thing. So these LANs that STDX are going to are going to be even more hype, because unlike, things like Smash and Splash 4, where everyone's like, yeah, STDX is going to win it, but who do you think is going to get second place? It's almost like an afterthought. So Ghost Gaming basically getting in, having Team Olive come out, it's always super hype. When SDX and Team Olive have fought before, because they're really high-level teams. I mean, they're in that same echelon. In American teams, if Tomo or Saikai isn't going, I just don't feel like there's any team that can really, challenge them in a really a consistent way. I'm not saying, some of these players are really good, they're just not quite at that level yet. And hopefully there will be more that are coming. I'm really hopeful that some teams are really going to step up to that level. That STDX is, and then I think like Saikai Tomo right under it. And then you got a bunch sort of below. But hopefully they'll get up. But now Ghost Gaming, STDX is going to be a rivalry. You're going to have another really top level team being at these LANs. It's going to help elevate the sort of electricity that are in that's in that room. And of course, Team Olive is easily the most popular team in the scene. I mean, you look at how many Twitch viewers, Dude gets well above anybody, probably double any of the other competitive players. But even then, Soren gets a lot of viewers, 100 plus, almost 200. Same thing with Sendu. Urza, maybe not so much, but still, I think he's going to grow, especially if he gets better at English. I think that's definitely going to help him a lot too. So, I mean, that's going to bring even more people, interested in the competitive scene. It's going to, I think, Dude and the other Team Olive, their popularity is going to bring more people into viewing these LANs, which is going to increase viewership. And then the other big thing is not necessarily related to Team Olive at all, or it's the fact that, all right, there was just one organization and now all of a sudden there's two. There's almost like a sort of watershed effect when enough people say what's going, enough people sort of start joining, and everybody else is kind of looks over there and thinks, what's going on there? Is there something to this Splatoon that maybe I need to get on before the sort of the bandwagons left? I need to get on early. And I think that with another team joining, and then if you get 2 or 3 more, then all of a sudden I think you're going to see even more people looking into Splatoon as a competitive game, sponsoring teams. I mean, it really takes a sort of base, a few sponsors to sort of get in the door, actually show hey, this is profitable, hey, this is getting us views, hey, this seems legit. And then you'll start seeing teams coming in, scouting other teams. So it's it's been pretty slim picking so far, but I think as you start to see more and more organizations, it'd be awesome to see some Cloud9 or Fnatic or any of those other really big competitive teams, competitive organizations get into this scene. And I think the more names you see getting into that, the more likely that's going to happen. So it's a big deal for Team Olive, but I think it's even more of a big deal for the scene in general, because the more organizations get in, just the better. So, I mean, the idea that competitive Splatoon is dying is just, it's utterly absurd when you look at what's happening right now. I mean, obviously, there's going to be changes. There's people going to leave. There's people going to, get burnt out on it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't want people to leave the community, but at some point you got to say hey, it's not worth it, and I'm not getting the results. it's time to move on. I mean, find something else that makes you happy too. So it's like, and then you don't really want people getting bitter and feel like, to start to hate the game. I mean, that kind of negativity just ends up hurting, more people than it helps. So that's it for the video, guys. Don't listen to people saying Splatoon's dead. Clearly, the signs show that it is growing at a rapid rate. It's better than ever, stronger than ever. I'm really looking forward to, even more happening over the summer and the fall. It's looking great so far. All right, guys, that's it for my Splat report. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful week. I'll see you later.